This is a tutorial on how to calculate dimensions for functional skills. Now specifically we're going to be looking at how many smaller objects can we fit into a larger space. So the example we're going to look at today is, let's just change the pen colour first. We're going to be looking at how many tiles we can fit into a kitchen floor. So I'm going to draw a sketch of this kitchen floor first of all. This doesn't have to be to scale for this kind of question. We just need to know the dimensions first. So they'll be given to you. Let's call the width at the top 15 meters, and for the other side, top to bottom, is 10 meters. That's the size of the kitchen floor. We'll then give you the size of the individual tile, and we'll say that that is 50 centimeters across and also 50 centimeters top to bottom. Now this is a very important point to notice. A lot of the time in these questions, you can see straight away, you notice one unit is in centimeters and the other is in meters. So we want to change these so that they're both the same before we start tackling the rest of the question, because it'll make it a lot easier to calculate things and hopefully prevent you from making an error. We've looked at this in a separate tutorial, specifically how we can convert between centimeters, meters, kilometers and millimeters. So if you're not sure on what I'm going to do next, make sure you watch that other video. First of all, it doesn't actually matter which one you convert from, so it'll give you the same answer whether you decide to go from centimeters to meters or from meters to centimeters. The final answer will still work out the same, so it's just about your personal choice. I'm going to choose to convert the 50 centimeters into meters in this case. And as I say, from that other video we would have learned that 50 centimeters, to change that into meters you need to divide it by 100. That'll give you your answer in meters. So if I bring up the calculator to work that out, it's 50 divided by 100, oh that's 1050, divided by 100. Why does that keep happening? 50, try that once more, divided by 100, there we go, is 0.5. So 50 centimeters therefore is the same as 0.5 meters. So if I rub that out from the top now, we can change it. So the size of that tile, we can now call it 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters. So I say it'll make things a lot easier to calculate now that we've got everything in the same unit. So the second part, if we're going to see how many of this tile fit into the larger kitchen floor, we need to do one larger side, so the largest object that we've got, which is the kitchen floor, the 15 meters, divided by the corresponding side of the smaller object, so 0.5. So we're going to see how many individual tiles will fit crossways like this. So we're going to do 15 divided by 0.5. We'll get the calculator back up to work that out. So 15 divided by 0.5. So that gives you 30. So what that's telling you is you can fit exactly 30 tiles from left to right across the middle. The next part, we need to do exactly the same process, but for the other side, from top to bottom. So again, we're going to start with the larger side, and the larger object, which is 10 meters, and divide that by the corresponding side from the smaller object, so the 0.5 again. So 10 divided by 0.5, we go back to the calculator to work that one out. 10 divided by 0.5, so that gives you 20 tiles this time. Okay, so what that tells us, like I say, we can fit 30 tiles across and 20 tiles down. So for the total tiles, just be careful, we're not going to be adding those two numbers together. It's not going to be 30 plus 20 to give us 50 tiles, because what I've actually got, I'll draw some rough lines, is 30 tiles across here, and as I say, 20 from top to bottom. So if we just added 30 and 20, would have missed out all the rest that are going to cover here. So what we actually need to do is 30 times 20. A bit like when you would work out area, length times width. We're going to do 30 times 20 to find the total amount of tiles that are going to be needed to cover that kitchen floor. So 30 times 20, and again I'll bring up the calculator to work that one out. 30 times 20. So that gives you 600 tiles. So 600 tiles, and that's your final answer. That's how many tiles you're going to need to tile that whole kitchen floor. And that's the end of the tutorial on dimensions.